Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back with another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the best settings to use here in Season 4. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the settings I use, including graphics settings, display settings, game settings, controller sensitivities, and binds. I'm going to be going over all of the settings that I currently use for this season and what I recommend for you guys to copy and try out if you are playing on controller in this current season. And real quick, before we get into the video, up on the screen I have the VBuck giveaway winner of this week. I give away VBucks every single Friday, and if you guys would like to enter next week's giveaway, all you guys have to do is simply drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell and drop a comment down below of either your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. I will be giving out one of these cards every single Friday. I will share the screenshot of the winner in the video, so make sure you guys stay updated if you are interested in winning free V-Bucks. And lastly, if you guys want to support me in the item shop, just go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in creator code Young Humor, and you guys will have me supported in the item shop as a creator. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the settings that you guys want to use here in Season 4. I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of the settings that I currently use. So going to my settings, you guys do want to be on full screen if you guys are on PC. I use Windows full screen because it's a little bit easier to record my videos in, but full screen is ideal. As far as graphics, your brightness really just depends on your monitor. I use 136%, but it really just depends whatever works best for you. As far as your colorblind mode, this is completely personal preference. There isn't any advantage of being on either or, so it is completely personal preference on what you guys want to use. As far as your graphic quality settings, I recommend using the performance mode, and then I do like the high meshes. I think high meshes look better than low meshes. And I use medium view distance with medium textures. I find this to look the best and be the most ideal when I'm playing competitive, or if I'm just playing casual, I get the most FPS and it just works the best on these settings. So, or you do get a little bit more FPS if you're on low meshes versus high meshes on performance, but as long as you're on performance mode, you are going to get more FPS overall, and that's what I recommend using for all the players out there, especially if you're on lower end PCs. Going into my game settings, you want to make sure you have the auto open door feature on, the mantle activation on hold jump. That makes it a lot easier to mantle where you're not accidentally mantling up when you aren't trying to. As far as your game settings and the preferred item slots, you want to have the item slots as I have here: shotgun in the first slot, SMG in the second, double consumable or utility, and then you want to have assault rifle in the loadout slot 5. That was what all the pro players use, and that's what I recommend. You always want to have your shotgun in the first slot because it makes it easier to pull out. As far as your building settings, you want to make sure you have the disabled pre-edit option on, because the reason why you don't want this off is because you don't really use pre-edits almost ever unless you're trying to meme or troll. So you always want to make sure you have that on so you don't accidentally have the pre-edit option. You want to make sure you copy all the other settings that I have. And as far as the replay settings, make sure you guys have these off. If you don't actually use replays, it's just going to take up a lot of your FPS, and it's going to make your game run not as good because you're going to have things recording in the background. And as far as your HUD scale, I recommend being on a 70 to 80%. And then I have everything else here, I believe, is default. Some people don't like the reticle ammo indicator. I find it really helpful, but it can take up a little bit of space. So there is a couple preferences here, but overall I recommend just having what I have for those settings. So going into my controller options and my sensitivity settings that I recommend for the season, this is really important. So my slide hold time is going to be on a 0.05. You want to make sure this is as low as you can without accidentally sliding around when you're not meaning to, because sliding is super effective. It allows you to like dodge shots, go around corners really quickly. So having that low but not where it's accidentally registering, you want to make sure you have it as low as you can, and that's going to make it very helpful. As far as your sensitivity settings, build and edit mode, I have a 1.9, 2.0, and my horizontal and vertical speed is both on a 41%. These sensitivity settings are great. It's a good mix between being smooth but also being quick when you need to. And that's why I recommend these settings for this season. As far as my ADS, my aim down sight sensitivity, I recommend a 9%. I found 9% to be the best overall sensitivity for ADS vertical and horizontal. And then I recommend a boost of either 11% or 13%. This is really good because what happens is if someone takes a launch pad or they're gliding through the air, sometimes 9% isn't enough. So if you hold down your analog stick based on your turning boost ramp time, so if you hold on your analog stick for 0.22 seconds, then what happens is your sensitivity is going to get bumped up from 9% to 13%, which it makes it helpful to track players which normally are just moving too quickly. 9% is good for almost all cases, but if they're just moving quickly because they took a launch pad or whatever the case may be, you can have it to where it goes to 11 or 13% to help catch that player and track them properly. As far as my sensitivity settings, here, you want to make sure you're on linear. Linear is the best to use this season. Exponential is decent. It is okay. If you guys do prefer that, you can use it. But I think linear is the best option, and I highly recommend giving it a try if you guys aren't currently on linear settings. And as far as my dead zones, it really just depends on your controller. I'm playing on a 10 and 9%. But if you have a lot of stick drift, then you want to raise your dead zone so you don't have as much overall. So these settings are really great, and I highly recommend these sensitivity settings for all of you guys who are playing in this season. I find it to be very helpful. I feel like I can build really consistently. I feel I can edit quickly. I feel like my shot is really on point. It doesn't feel overly fast or slow. It just feels like a good middle ground sensitivity. And of course, with any type of sensitivity video, I highly recommend trying out the settings and then just making the small adjustments that you find necessary. So sometimes certain sensitivities feel a little bit quick or too slow. Then just making those quick adjustments to help you out is the best way to have new sensitivities and to learn them really quickly, because everyone has their personal preference on different sensitivities and what they like and what they don't like. As far as the binds that I have, I recommend checking out my other videos. So all you have to do is go in the search bar, type in Young Humor claw binds or non-claw binds, because I personally use 4 paddles, and if you use 4 paddles, what I recommend is my upper left paddle to be the toggle pickaxe, my upper right paddle is my edit button, my bottom left is my jump, and then my bottom right is my trap, pick / interact, which is going to be under the build controls. So you have 4 paddles, I recommend that, but if not, I recommend just going to the search bar, typing in Young Humor best claw binds, best binds with scuff controller if you play with 2 paddles, if you happen to play non-claw, whatever the case may be. I definitely have made a video on it previously, and I highly recommend giving those videos out a look if you are looking for some binds but don't have 4 paddles like I do, because your settings are going to look a little bit differently. I highly recommend playing with the confirm on LT and reset on right stick. You can also have confirm on the right bumper. This is on the edit controls. And like I said, a lot of binds are personal preference, but I do highly recommend giving new binds out a try. If something just doesn't feel right, something just doesn't feel good, I highly recommend giving my other videos out a look, because sometimes changing your binds can be make or break when it comes to feeling really comfortable on what you're playing on. And with that being said, I really appreciate all you guys watching the video. If you could drop a like, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you can get notified every single time I upload a new video. But with that being said, I appreciate all you guys watching the video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.